Hi, everyone. This is Jessica Miller-Merrill. I'm so excited to be talking with you today. One of the things that I have learned over the years is how small the HR community is, and that our love and passion for HR people really, truly love the work that they do that knows no boundaries. All HR leaders are global ones, and I'm excited to introduce you today to one such HR leader who is blazing new trails and working to inspire others that are choosing to work in the HR profession. But first, my name is Jessica Miller-Merrill, and I'm the founder of Workology. We are a global community of HR leaders who are committed to personal and professional development for the human resources community. Workology reaches over 800,000 HR leaders each month across the world, providing them with training, resources, information, and support. So who I want to introduce you today is Annie Arsalan. She has over 10 years of successful working experience, including 5 years in human resources, mainly in the training and development, while the rest of her experiences in supply chain and research and product development. She is recognized consistently for performance excellence and contributions to success in textile manufacturing industries. Her strengths include training and development and organizational development, and they have been backed by programs including situational leadership, Ken Blanchard's model, and Train the Trainer program, as well as a master's of engineering. So interesting. Hi, Annie. I'm so excited for you to be here today.
Thank you, Jessica. Thanks. It was a great introduction. How are you, by the way?
I am great. So the time difference between you and me, it is a little after 8:30 a.m. here. What time is it for you there?
It is exactly 7:45 here.
PM, right?
PM. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I once you get over the time zone, like trying to figure out how to master that and understand how to put it on everybody's calendars, it's so much fun and a little surreal to be thinking that I'm here in Austin, Texas, and you are in Pakistan, but we're doing so many of the same things as HR professionals.
Absolutely, you are very right, because HR is well connected. And you know, Jessica, what do I think? I had been following your pages. I had been looking into the different, once I was into the learning process, and still I am in the learning process. So I follow your sites too. So I do think that HR fraternity is super connected, and that is the need of time too. Because if right away we don't get connect, we will be, we will be obsoleting our knowledge. We would not be learning, because diversity is the one of the medium, cross-cultural learning is one of the medium of keeping yourself updated. So indeed, it's a blessing. Technology is a blessing. All we have to do is just to make use of it, and we have to come out of our comfort zone. We have to understand that there's a lot more new to learn, and many people are there who are ready to help one another. We have to just seek for it.
Agreed. And all you have to do is send a message on social media or an email, or you happen to build a relationship on a social media platform, and yes, you can connect with somebody new.
Absolutely, you are very right. You're very right. And it doesn't take anything but a true intent. So if you are in seek of people around who can actually help you, you can connect them. They are not so far away, and there are so many people who would be there ready to help you without their own interest. So yes, you are very right that HR people have to connect one another so often now.
Well, talk to me about your background, because I'm especially impressed with your background in engineering. I haven't met too many HR professionals who have engineering, training and development, and all these different areas.
Well, Jessica, thank you so very much. Exactly. I have a different background. I am not core from the HR. I would rather say I was not from the HR initially, but now I am super involved into this field. I had done my master's and my bachelor's in engineering program, and I have been into the same profession for approximately a decade time. I thoroughly enjoyed my career there, but even being there at that site, I was so sure that all the time engineers deal with are basically human. So it's mainly human resource you have to manage. And by the way, I landed into the HR fraternity, HR side 5 years back. And I still say that was one of the best decisions I took ever for my own self in life. Because since then till now, every single day I am enjoying, I am learning, I am growing. And HR is a never ending field, because here you interact people, you have a side of business too. So there's a lot more to absorb. And I think life is too short for this.
I love it. I really think having a other career outside of an HR leader is an advantage for you, because you can understand the business and you have expertise in a different place outside of the human
Yeah.
resource field.
And Jessica, I must say that in many of the HR forums, I do speak it out loud and a lot many times that at any other side of the business, you deal with machines and the products, which is comparatively easier. But in the HR side, you have to deal with the human. There you need true intelligence. So you have to be capable enough of dealing, because every single individual is different and their needs are different. And among that all, you have to keep the business growing. So you have to have this acumen, business acumen knowledge too. So it is a great deal. I think so.
Well, another question I wanted to ask you, as I mentioned, you're from Pakistan, and it's a different environment when it comes to being a woman in the workplace or in the country. And so I wanted to ask you, as an HR leader and someone who is a Pakistan businesswoman, what do you feel like are the key HR skills that every woman needs to develop to excel in human resource, not just in Pakistan, but maybe as a global expert or a global leader?
All right. So there are many, but if I just highlight few of them, so I believe that there is a side of business acumen we all have to develop as an HR professional, and mainly as in women. If we want to excel in this career, we have to have this business knowledge. Otherwise, we'll lag behind. Other than that, what do I feel what we have to really work on are the communication skills and the navigation skills, because you have to navigate the business. And for that, you have to convince people, you have to understand what the leads are taking the organizations towards. And also you have to understand, so what are the global challenges too. So I think these three, like navigation, communication skills, and also the business acumen, we have to understand if we want to grow in the HR field. Otherwise, we will be just busy with the administrative task, which is not the true essence of HR.
I love that. You and I are totally on the same wavelength when it comes to broadening our knowledge beyond just HR. We really need to understand the business.
Very true. Very true.
Another question I wanted to ask is, what practice do you follow in Pakistan when it comes to organizational development interventions, and what matrices you develop to gauge the training and development performance?
Okay, so that is where my heart belongs to, because I am also into the organizational development side, looking after the learning and development. So telling you honestly that as in like in being a part of the developing country, I do know there are many big sizes businesses, and then medium, and then small. So learning and development is one of the area which is still evolving, and organizational development is one of the area which is still evolving. If I talk about particularly about my organization, that is Feroz 1888, we are one of the very few companies in Pakistan, and probably the only one or two there would be in the textile sectors which are actually involved in the people development side. And how our regular cycle runs, that starts with the TNA process, where we try to evaluate the needs. But what are the exact needs of the training, and why the employee need this kind of a skill, and how it is linked with the business strategy. And then stepwise we design and develop courses, and then we implement the training interventions and different learning interventions. And then we try to evaluate how these learnings are effective in making the business progressive. So maybe not in the actual progression, in through the linear progression, but we do try to pick and choose as per the need of the time. Still, I want to add that as I belong to the developing side of developing country, I do know there's still a lot more room to grow, especially when it comes to the technological advancements.
I love you talking about the Addie model, because we're going to talk about HR certification here in a little bit. But this is such a great application that you're talking about. And for HR leaders who maybe aren't in the training and development side of things, so the Addie model might be foreign. I love that you're able to share, because then it's like, oh, I can use it this way in the context of my organization, or Annie is using it in this way, so that just have a better, I think, solid understanding beyond just a definition and a couple paragraphs in a book.
Yes. So yeah, exactly. You will be the right person emphasizing on, because you have not only coaching people on that, but also you develop different interventions to make it more effective. So once I actually went through the process of SHRM, I realized how important it is, a stepwise process, how and why it is super important to keep the business growing. And that is where the whole learning and development belongs to. Yeah.
Let's switch gears to certification a little bit. I wanted to ask you, why is it important for you to have certification in human resources?
All right. So why it was important for me, because Jessica, what happens until the time you don't know that what is missing, you can't realize the worth of it. Once you get through the process, only then you realize, oh my God, how blessed I am, I got it. So indeed, that happened with me, because before I was practicing HR and I was, even progressing, and even I was happy and satisfied, but I still didn't know that what the flavor which is actually missing. So when it comes to the core HR certification program, I would encourage people, I would encourage HR professionals to be vigilant about it, because it gives you the core knowledge. And certification like SHRM, that gives you the flavor of the global practices too. So in this ever-changing business world, where everything is evolving every single day, we have to be really quick in getting the right information and the on-time decisions. So basically, in the landscape of HR, SHRM is the one of the best practice which prepares you for the global challenges. And that is why I think it is very important to have a certification in HR.
What do you
think about it?
I think very much it's important to have that access to knowledge and a large breadth of knowledge, so that you can remain competitive. We're talking all about global today too. So we want to make sure that we have global knowledge and awareness, so that we can better support our organization.
Very true, very true. And as mashallah, you have worked with more than 800, like this is a very big count. So you have a very diverse bank. You have, you must have encountered so many questions all across the world. And probably in all the questions, the one thing that remains constant is the right practice that if you implement anywhere, it gives you quicker results.
Agreed. Yeah, you want to work with experts, people who already have the experience. Why try to invent a new thing and go through all the pain of the mistakes and the learnings, when you can just find a process that somebody's already modified and proven that it works.
Very true. Very true.
What do you think the biggest challenge in HR is right now?
Okay, so what is the biggest challenge in HR? If you talk mainly about the manufacturing units and mainly about Pakistan and the middle, like the east part of the world. So I believe that we are struggling. Still, we are struggling in the diversity, in bringing diversity and equity in the organization. Yes, there are a few more challenges too, like human resource engagement when it comes to the workplace. But diversity is one of the area where we all are, the companies are evolving and yet struggling. So this is one of the point where we are focused on.
Awesome. Well, I know that I'm already enjoying this conversation, but I know you have some questions for me. So I'm going to take my turn.
Yeah, that is great. So, Jessica, as we know that you are a professional coach, you train people, you coach people, and you actually assure them to be the best in their HR practices, especially when it comes to the SHRM side. So, I really want to take the insights. What do you feel, Jessica? The way the world is shaping, the future is coming. What do you think that where the HR is heading to, and how do you foresee that how professionals should develop themselves?
HR leaders have been in these executive meetings since the beginning of the pandemic. And the first question, the HR leaders are the ones who are talking about vaccination status, COVID rates, infection, what the CDC is recommending, everything related to the pandemic. How do we go remote? How do we onboard people virtually? All these questions have been, everybody's been looking to HR. And I want these executives for our businesses to keep looking to HR even after we've come out of this really uncertain time. And so in order to do that, HR leaders need to right now focus on really understanding the business, understanding business acumen, taking a look at financial statements, getting on the textile floor to understand what happens on the business logistically. Where does it go after it leaves the plant? How does it get delivered to customers? And then how do we handle questions, returns, customer satisfaction, all these different things? HR has that expertise as an expert in the people side of the business. We need to get and really focus on that business development understanding, because then truly we can use our expertise in the HR side to really help support the organization. And since we have so many people leaving the organization, being added to or the organization, it's a lot of moving parts, but we can continue to be in these executive meetings and really help grow the business with what we know.
Yeah, absolutely. You are very right. Because here, probably HR professionals do lag a bit. And when they lag in this part, they probably cannot perform in other of the areas to bring the right talent, because probably they don't know the needs exactly. And many more areas get more focused if you actually know the business acumen well. Absolutely. Yeah, I do agree with the point. So my next question for you is, how can an organization know that their diversity and inclusion practices are, are really in the right direction, and how actually we can bring true diversity and equity at the workplace?
The first thing that organizations need to do is talk to their people and understand where the gaps may lie, but to do so in a way that lets employees feel like it is safe for them to be honest, because a lot of times employees don't really think that what we're doing is going to lead to anything, so they don't even bother. And the people that we do need to reach out to are the ones who maybe have felt marginalized or discriminated against, or just feel like they're not supported. So I want to talk to those people. I want to talk to everybody, but especially get the insights of those voices so that we can understand what's going on with our organization. A lot of times organizations can bring in a consultant who can help you in this way. I am not your gal for this particular area. There are some really great consultants out there who specialize in this. I think it's important when you bring in somebody that they be someone in a protected class or a minority group themselves that is a DEI expert, because they can candidly talk to the executive team from their own experience about what has happened to them in the workplace. Plus, it helps build trust with those groups of people who might have not felt comfortable sharing in the organization. So I think that's the first thing, is talk to our people. It's not enough just to do an annual DEI training once a year for the managers, once a year for the workplace, and then have everybody to sign off and move forward. We really need to talk to our people first, understand what they need, hear their points of view, and then implement different programs that in training that help support these areas that have been uncovered as opportunities.
So in linking with this, the same question, do you think it must be translated into the yearly KPIs, the key performance indicators? It should be set as a target too?
I would love it to be. I think DEI metrics are incredibly challenging. And a lot of DEI leaders right now that have been brought into organizations don't have a budget. They aren't involved in executive conversations. And so it's hard to have KPIs or to say our efforts resulted in X. So we do need to have an understanding of what maybe with a recruiting or a diversity scorecard first to understand where not just recruiting targets and gaps lie, but taking it at a step further. There's so many different ways of doing it. One of my favorite organizations right now that I feel like is really transparent about their process is BarkBox. I have a podcast interview with their Chief Diversity and Talent Officer. Her name's Christy. She's fabulous. They publicly, or they internally, they post salary information. They post where their hiring gaps or diversity opportunities lie. They're very transparent about the process. And I think that it has made the organization really strong for that reason, because they're really open about, hey, we're not perfect. Here's where we have some opportunities, and here's how we're going to accomplish this goal together.
All right, and it also shows the maturity of the organization too, because then they are ready to get any kind of responses from the world. Because when you are being transparent about every single thing, so yes, there are another set of challenges waiting for you outside there. So relevant to the same question, when it comes to the more HR professional side and how they can groom themselves into the domain of HR, I want to learn from you that what do you think, what challenge the most HR professionals do face when they recruit talent from other cultures?
So this is an interesting question, and let me just say that my background, my academic background is actually anthropology. I have a degree in anthropology and business, and so I think a lot of this from an anthropological background is that you have to, in order to really be able to build relationships and rapport with people, regardless of where they live and where they're from, and maybe their ethnicity or community, whatever, we need to be curious and research and do some work to understand how are the ways of doing things in different cultures. I like to kind of insert myself into a place, and I'll give you an example that's not a cultural example, but you'll kind of get my point, is that when I lived in San Francisco Bay Area, I'm not a technical person. I'm not an engineer, but I'm interested in the process, the brain process of the engineers, how decisions are made, because I would like to be more like that. It also helps me communicate better with that community of people, especially if they're in my office. And so I started attending meetup groups just for programmers and coders. And I was a marketer, which was fine, but I learned a lot. And I kind of did it from an observation point of view. I didn't necessarily have to participate all the time. But when I look at cultural understanding, it's similar in that way. You want to find a way to research and learn more about the culture, and then find a safe community space to kind of be a part of and ask some questions. But do it with, I feel like, an open heart, because you want to make sure that you don't offend. And that's the worst thing that we can do. So if we're going to recruit other cultures, I want to find somebody who is from that culture, or that I can ask questions, that's a safe person. I could say, hey, I'm noticing this, what does this mean? So that you can learn, and you can make sure that you are being inclusive of that particular group, and you're making sure that they feel comfortable, because that's the biggest thing, I think, is just comfort and welcoming.
Yeah, very true. And Jessica, we learn the most when we interact people. So when I am interacting with you, it is always learning, because the more of the cultural side, if you want to learn, you have to interact cross-cultural people, and that is the only way around. Because probably this is not exactly the knowledge you can find in books, but they will actually tell you where to navigate the next process. You're
Agreed.
right.
And I want them to tell me this is not appropriate.
Yeah.
If I do something, and again, I'm coming with an open heart, so it's really unintentional, but we have to seek out those groups of people and a person who maybe we trust and they trust us, that can say like, hey, that was not, you shouldn't say that again, and here's why.
Yes. Indeed. And last but not the least, because I'm taking, a lot more time from you, it's always a good talking to you always. So must tell me that I was so eager to learn about the new app you have just launched and the medium of learning regarding the Workology. So we want to know what it is.
So I want to make learning accessible to everyone, wherever they are. And so many of us, HR leaders, like everyone else, are doing that from our mobile device. So, and it's on demand. And so we launched the Workology app, and it's available in the Android, Google Play, or store or the Apple Store. So you can go there and download it. You need to be a paid member of a course or a membership. And then the login information is the same, and you're able to log in and get learning. It's been a lot of fun doing something again that I have no expertise in, but I have a really good group of people who have helped support us. And I feel like put together a really great app that can help make learning in HR easier and more accessible and on everybody's schedule.
Yeah, I'm equally excited because you are very right. Use of the right use of technology is probably something we have to opt. Otherwise, we will lag behind. We will lag behind in our profession. We lag behind in our lives. So we all have options, either to waste our time on all the social sites or to get something constructive out of it. So I believe for HR professionals, it is indeed a blessing because now they can access your knowledge, access your time, even without taking your actual time. So I believe this is going to be a good fun.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited about how it's going to progress and what's new with the app, because like anything, it's a work in progress. So I would love for people to download the app, give it a try. If you like it, let me know. If you don't like it, let me know too, so that we can plan for new enhancements and updates in the future.
That is great. That is great. That's amazing talking to you, Jessica, to be honest, as always, as always.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you too for taking time out of your evening to chat with me also. I will include in the transcript in the links like Annie's LinkedIn, so you can also connect with her too, and then also mine too, because I know that Annie's going to be sharing this on her social medias and her places, and then I'm going to be sharing this mine. It really was a collaborative effort, and I'm so lucky to have connected with you. So I appreciate your time also.
Thank you, Jessica. It is amazing, and always is a pleasure talking to you. You are a great human being, and more than that, you're a great professional, and you're working too good in this field, to be honest. Thank you.
Thank you.